Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Leo. So, Leo, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So, Leo, your message today feels something like giving yourself time because you know that you can trust what is already there, that you are already in the right path. And it seems to be like a specific moment where you can sense a shift in the wind, and you know that somehow there is like this storm coming. So there is kind of like this calm before the storm, but you know that the storm is temporary. It's not going to stay here for long. But you know that because of this storm coming, you need to just take this time for yourself. And that's because you are receiving kind of like these previews or these visions or these flashes, or it's like you have this foresight because you're friends with the sun and the moon, which, these two cards, they were yesterday in the Cancer reading, which was just such a beautiful message, and an emotional one. But here you are, Leo, becoming friends with the sun and the moon. And that's the reason why you know exactly when is the moment to shut the door so that the storm passes and it doesn't really affect you that much, right? So it's almost like it's like, again, it's also bringing up a message that has been coming up a lot with the moon. It's like you're putting yourself to sleep when the time is right. So it feels like you become consciously unconscious, if that makes sense, right? So it's like you are isolating yourself for something to pass by or to pass like over you, but without touching you or damaging you or affecting you in a negative way, right? So you know that you can trust this because we're beginning with the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles, well, it's the card that talks about a connection, right? It's like establishing kind of like the parameters, or like the not the rules, but it's like the conditions, right? It's like what is this exchange? How is this relationship between you, the sun and the moon? How is this going to work, right? So as I'm saying this, it's like it just makes sense that this is kind of like this fortifying or establishing this friendship with the sun and the moon, but in a way that respects your own physical limits, your own it's like your physical condition, right, as a human being. So you have your own pace. And most of all, what this card was showing me was something that is expected. It's like, you know that it's a little bit like taking something for granted, but it's not because you are, you know, oblivious of, the bigger picture, or you are too self-driven or selfish. In this case, it's not taking for granted in that sense. It's just because it's like, that while the storm is going through, the sun will be covered, right? It will not be seen, but you know that you can expect the sun to shine again. That's the expectation that I'm feeling from the Six of Pentacles. It's something that you can trust. It's reliable. It's going to be there. It's like the rules are going to be met, or it's like the deal, or it's like whatever conditions, right? It's like you are in agreement with the sun and the moon, maybe with the cosmos, right? But specifically the sun and the moon, because you're here. It's like, that you can trust those entities, those archetypes, those celestial bodies, right? Because with the Four of Swords coming next, it's like you will know that you will have to take a break for a little bit of time, right? So it's like it's expected that things will return as usual, even if you take a break, because while you are at it, the Eight of Swords is passing by. So this is the storm, right? This is the central card of this spread, at least here in the first part. So the Eight of Swords is talking about the storm going by. And I want to say that if you didn't take this time to just quiet your mind, right? Because this is all like this mental storm. it doesn't necessarily need to be, an actual storm outside your house. It could be, literally that, but it's mostly in your mind. So I want to say that there is kind of like this frequency that could be accelerated, but it's almost like this cleansing, right, of your mind space. But in order for that to be cleansed, it's like the dust needs to be it's like it needs to be seen, or it needs to be I don't know how to express that. It needs to be in motion, right? So that's the reason why it creates kind of like this havoc or this chaos, right? But if you're still, right, the Four of Swords is talking about stillness. It's like maybe meditating or just quieting your mind to become as still as you possibly can, because you know that there is no rush, right? This is also the combination of these two cards. It's like there is no rush to go back to it, or go back to the path, go back to the relationship, go back to the work, go back to whatever, because it's like you know that the sun is going to be there, the moon is going to be there, the agreement is still in place. It's not because you are respecting your human limits and taking some time to decompress, to just allow the stress, or maybe you have been working a lot, right? Maybe you have been dedicating yourself a lot to something, so now it's time to just rest, like take a weekend off. It's like take a vacation. It's like just take some time for yourself. It doesn't need to be, so long. It could be, as much as you need, because you're going to recognize when the storm has passed, because the sun is going to shine again, right? So you know that you can trust this relationship with the sun and the moon, I want to say, but first of all, with the sun, because you know how to recognize the sun even when the clouds are there. So, and it's interesting because it's almost like that is why you feel so secure, so stable. It's like so trusting, right? It's like you know that you can trust that the sun is going to be there. You know that this relationship is going to be met, right? It's going to be reciprocated. So there is no need to fear stopping for a while, just taking some time, right? Not engaging, or not because what the Six of Pentacles is showing me, it's like this train track, right? It's like you already know that you are on track, so you don't have to worry about missing the train, in a sense, right? It's like the train will stop so that you can just come back. It's almost like you're going to it's like you're I was going to say, it's like you're going to come out of the train just for a second, right? It's like this brief stop, but to analyze something, right? It's like just to allow the storm to pass through. So it's like just seeing the landscape, right? It's like seeing the clouds move by. But then when you have the first sign that the sun is coming back, right, that the clouds are going, it's like you know that the storm is passing. It's like it's on its way, you know, away from you, right? It's not, it's moving ahead. So it's like you can reconnect, you can reestablish this sun connection, this relationship. So it's something that it gives you, it's almost like it gives you tranquility, right? It gives you maybe like the ability to know when you need to take some time off. It's like you don't have to worry, things are okay. It's like you have enough, right? Maybe even financially, it's like it's okay, you don't depend on that. It's like it's, you're not going to lose anything if you take some time for yourself. So because it's like the agreement is here, right? It's like the sun is holding that space, and the sun is still there, even if the clouds are passing by, even if the sun is not being seen. And maybe the sun could be the metaphor for you, right? Even you, if you are not showing up for work, or if you're not being seen, it's like the sun is still there, right? So, and maybe this is your relationship with your own vibration, right? It's like the essence of your being, because to me, this is what the sun represents, right? In astrology, the sun talks about like who you are. It's like how you vibrate, whether or not there are clouds covering that, right? Whether or not you are visible to the world, to others. It's like you know that you are always in connection with your essence. So this agreement is always in place, is always respected by both parties. And this is how it's like that you are, it's like there's a lot to process, right? So taking this time to process the Eight of Swords, to be cleansed mentally, right? It's like your mental space needs to be cleansed so that what remains, it's almost like this sharper sun rays, right? It's like your luminosity, it's even brighter, if that makes sense. But here it's interesting because the next card is talking about the sun setting, right? So I want to say that perhaps, taking this time, taking this break, it could be just for one day, right? So it's like, if you woke up and the sun didn't show up because it was a cloudy day, right? And you have waited until the sun was shining again, but it was close to sunset, then that is fine, because it's almost like this, what is the word? It's like this change in who is in charge, right? With this agreement. Because remember, it's like you are in agreement, you are in a beautiful relationship, both with the sun and the moon that is coming after the death. So the death card is just talking about I'm literally seeing, like, like a hand, pulling the moon, right? And actually pulling down the sun and then pulling the moon. So it's like this change in who is now in charge of this relationship. It's almost like both of these stars, or both of these celestial bodies, they are in agreement with you, right? It's something that is, it's like it's coherent, it's very aligned with, it's like with your human experience, right? It's like both of these energies respect your need for rest from time to time. So, but also because they know that you're not going to bail out, you're not going to um skip off, or run away from the train, right? It's like that you are on track, and so do they. It's like they also trust you. It's like a reciprocal relationship, right? And so that's the reason why they know that if you're taking this time off, they know that they can trust that you're going to come back eventually when the storm has passed, if that makes sense. So the death card is talking about the shift between the light of the day and then the light of the moon, right? Or the night. So it is a shift. And this is also talking about, like, knowing again when to shut the door when it's needed, but also when to open the door. And this could be, literally the doors of your house, right? It's like allowing the sun to breathe in, to illuminate the spaces, and, just to, it's almost like to cleanse, right? Again, the fresh air, right? But also when it's time to shut the door or to close the windows, or again, to isolate yourself or to take some time just to allow this cleansing to happen, I want to say that you also respect that. And it's almost like the moon is the one that rules this closing up, right? Because if we think of the sun as, very focused on the exterior or the outdoors, it's like it's shining to the external world or realm, right? It's like looking outward to the landscape, or to whatever it's out there. And the moon, it's looking inside. Both of these are in agreement with you. And ending here with this Three of Cups, this is the beautiful thing. It's like maybe this is all, this very symbolic way of saying how in tune you are with your masculine and your feminine side, which could be, like this very simple truth, right? Just like it was showing up in the Cancer reading yesterday. It is very simple, but it can also be so poetic because it feels like a friendship, right? So it's developing the friendship with the sun and the moon that inhabits yourself. It's like that these two archetypes, these two entities, from time to time, they transform into one another, right? So the sun setting gives place to the moon that is rising up. And then when the moon sets, it's time for the sun to come up. And in between, from time to time, there are storms, right? There are clouds that are going to pass by, all of these stormy thoughts. So these could be your clouds, right? Your inner clouds coming through. But that nevertheless, you are in tune with this beautiful friendship. It is a beautiful, beautiful friendship, I want to say, because it's almost like that you can count on them and they know that they can count on you. This is how it's coming through. It's literally coming through as like this exchange, right? It started that way with the Six of Pentacles. Being the Six of Pentacles, I want to say, it's like, even though, these are all three major arcana, but we also have a three, which is the three of co-creation, right? And specifically this Three of Cups, which is the co-creation from the heart space. It's like you are all linked together from the heart space. So maybe that's the reason why the cleansing needs to happen in the mind, right? It's like you know that you have your own limits as a human being, but so do they. It's like they respect, they understand that, because even though they don't have this body, right? Just like you do, Leo, it's like they are you. It's like they are in tune with your vibration, with your heartfelt vibration. So when your heart needs a break, right, because your mind needs this cleansing, it's like it's granted. It's like it's almost like, the sun naturally sets to give you this space so that you can put yourself to sleep, right? So you can go into this almost like this momentaneous um hibernation, right? I was trying to remember that word. So it's like going into this standstill mode where you are in tune with your inner frequency, with your intuition, with your emotion, right? So maybe with your subconscious that is being awakened by this um, conscious put to sleep type of energy, right? So you, and I want to say that it's you, but it's not you. It feels like outside of you because it feels like, friends. So, but because there is this heart connection, you could translate as yourself putting yourself to sleep, right? As it was coming up in the recent readings. So yes, you could see that way. Also, if you are identifying the sun and the moon as just archetypes of the masculine and the feminine, it's also you, right? But it feels like you're friends with yourself again, if that's the case, if that's how it's resonating for you, Leo. I want to say that it's like you're becoming best friends with your own self. And that is so powerful because it translates as like self love, right? Maybe this is the transformation that needs to happen. It's like, this is the powerful mental cleansing that is happening right now. It's like, you can be your best friend, right? Maybe that's the entire message here. It's like this is the powerful transformation. It's like you can look at yourself and see yourself shining, but also shining within, right? Not just outside of you and to the outside world. It could be also to this inner realm. So and see the beauty, right? Because the beauty was also in the Cancer reading, and the moon rules Cancer and the sun rules Leo. So these two signs that are side by side, they are also within you, right? So and I'm just saying this because I want to say that it doesn't really matter if you do have the sun and the moon in Leo or Cancer, whatever. I want to say that if you resonate with these two energies and they feel like best friends to you, then you are integrating these archetypes and allowing them to transform you from the inside out, so that whatever storm needs to pass through to cleanse you from these negative beliefs, that perhaps prevented you from really becoming friends with yourself, then it's like that now this is it's like this is just one last passage of the storm, right? Just one last dark night of the soul that you need to put yourself to sleep so that you can allow this to go through this moment in your life, right? So that you are establishing this beautiful, beautiful friendship with yourself, with the sun and the moon. And I want to say that really, well, yes, it transforms you in a deep way, in a profound, very powerful inner way. But because this card is at the bottom of the deck, right? So it's like it is your mind, right? It's like it's this sharp mind now. The King of Swords is just representing how taking this time to allow the storm to pass through, it's actually bringing the best of your intelligence, the best of your smart mind, right? It's like being very in tune with your neurons, with your ability to decide, with your ability to see forth, right? It's like having this foresight that I was talking about. Maybe you have anticipated that the storm was coming, and now that is passing through, it's almost like that the outcome, right, after this night's sleep or after this moment of undergoing another dark night of the soul, which I want to say it's not long, right? It feels very brief. It feels intense, yes, but it feels very brief because that you can expect the sun to shine again. So it's almost like you're not intimidated by that, right? It's almost like you're glad that you can do that, knowing that it's like in the time that you're giving yourself for that purpose, right? So you know that your mind is going to be a lot more sharp, a lot more sovereign, a lot more unpolluted, right? Not compromised or not corrupted by those negative thoughts because they're just passing by, right? And that is the deep transformation, because it's like you know that you are co-creating with these powerful entities. It's like these two archetypes, the sun and the moon together. They are trusting you, you are trusting them, right? It's like this agreement. So it's like you know that you don't have to fear this moment of just taking some time for yourself, right? Take a break, Leo. It's going to be something very, very useful and something very transformational. And you know this, right? Maybe I don't even need to say this to you. It's like you know this, but it's just a reassurance perhaps. So I am going to pull more cards for you to see where this wants to go. And also, I'm going to pull from the astrological rooms in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, see you next time. Bye.